Alright, so we bought this 2017 20-foot Flying Cloud about 6 months ago, and the first time I went to use the drain plug, I twizzled the top and it just basically became brittle and just broke off. So now I'm going to try and do the easy fix and replace this guy with this new valve that I saw online from another video and went ahead and bought it on Amazon. So what I'm going to do is try the first easy test of taking these two screws out, seeing if I can't just quickly pop this in. So let's see how that goes. Okay, I'm just going to go over really quickly here the tools I used to change this freshwater drain valve. So I've got the drill, of course, to help drill out the holes that I use to get around the valve. You'll see that in the video. I needed a box cutter to cut through the insulation underneath the bottom, some pliers to bend the sheet metal. I used the needle nose pliers to loosen the pipe clamp to get the first broken valve off. Tin snips to snip the bottom part of the steel box around the freshwater tank. This is definitely the easiest way to go and most control. It's not the prettiest cut, but it works out pretty well. You'll see in the video. Little work light, some pipe tape, regular Phillips and regular screwdriver. I used a square and a pen to kind of make my markings for what I needed to cut out of the bottom of the trailer. So we got those two screws out, but this thing doesn't really want to move. I know there's a little short hose on the other side there. I'm just not sure if I'm going to be able to get this thing out. Let's see what we can do here. This guy wants to cut me. Bend it out of the way. So it's spinning. I think it's just spinning in that hose. I'm just not sure how I'm going to get that out of there yet. Let me think about it and see what we can do here with maybe a flathead screwdriver or something that'll let me wedge it up out of there. All right, I've been cranking on this for a while, and it just doesn't want to come out of the hose. I mean, it's got the barbs on it, you know, to go into the plex hose in there. It just doesn't want to let it go. So I'm going to keep trying to work at it. If I can't get it, then I'm going to have to do it probably a harder way than I was hoping. Okay, well, I managed to break it, and I did not realize that it had this hose clamp on the inside, which is why it wasn't going to give it up. And yeah, I got the hose clamp out of there part way, and then it busted. So I guess it's going to be a little bit more of a job than I was hoping. Okay, I'm not going to force this through that small hole. What I'm going to do is get my Dremel, and I'm going to try and just make that hole bigger right around the outside edge of it without interfering with my holes to screw in the new valve. And then I should be able to just get that out of there and take the hose clamp off and put the new one on. At least that's the hope. So I've got to go get a little bit better Dremel bit. I'll do that, and when I come back I'll give it a try and see what happens. Okay, so what I've decided to do here is I've drilled these holes out, and I have a Dremel cutter. I'm gonna basically cut this hole bigger with the Dremel and smooth it out as much as I can. Just drilling the holes makes it a little bit faster. I know I've got plenty of depth because these screws will go in quite a ways, so there's a little bit of room behind the metal there to be able to have a drill bit kind of pop through and a Dremel bit. Anyway, we'll get on that and we'll see how that turns out. Okay, so I got the hole bigger. I can see the hose clamp. I'm going to try and get that hose clamp off and get that broken piece of plastic out of there. Okay, I was able to get the clamp off and the broken piece out, and yeah, so now I've got this exposed, but unfortunately this going in is just way too loose. I'm gonna have to do what I've seen with a lot of other repairs where they come and, you know, take a little plate out of the bottom here so we can access underneath, and then I'll just get another piece of metal and screw it back on. Bigger job than I was hoping for, but I've come this far. I think I need to go all the way with it. I'm up underneath here, and I'm going to try and take out this little access panel here. I've got some tin snips and a drill. I'm going to take first that rivet out, and then I'm going to try and tin snip as much as I can, and then see if I can't get that little panel off of there. It's like 3 inches by 3 inches, and then I bought some 4-inch by 4-inch stainless steel panel to go back on it. So I'm going to give that a try and see what I can do. Okay, I got my snips out, and I got this little bit of panel cut out. There's the foam insulation there. I'm gonna cut that out and see what my access looks like. Okay, so I've got the insulation out, and I'm able to expose where I need to put that pipe clamp back on. I did have to cut this just a little bit to get the insulation out. I'm gonna bend this back into place before I put a sheet of metal over top of this to cover it up again. I'll take my piece of insulation, which I have right here. Where is it? There it is. I'll take that, and I'll make sure I put it back into place when I put the cover back on top of this. Kind of tight down here. I didn't lift up the trailer, so I'm super tight down in here. All right, I was able to get the clamp on to the new valve, and I'm going to just kind of test it for leaks before I button anything up. Yeah, getting access there is definitely key. Definitely not something I wanted to do, but it's there now. It'll be there forever. So yeah, I think we're good. So I'm going to fill up a little bit of water in the tank, make sure I don't have any leaks, and then we'll figure out how to cover it all up. Okay, I've got the valve installed. I've just been letting it sit there for a little while, make sure there's no leaks, and there is no leaks from underneath. And yeah, it seems to be working just fine. So now I've got this nice brass fitting. I can connect a hose here if I want to. Again, I saw this on another video, this particular valve, and thought it looked pretty cool. So yeah, it's installed. So now I just need to see if I can get a picture over here. I need to kind of finalize what's happening back here, get that all bent back down and kind of cleaned up, and then I have some 1/8 inch stainless steel plate that I'm going to put over top of that with some metal self-tapping screws. Okay, before I fully button up down below, I'm going to let this thing sit with a bunch of water in it. It's almost 70% full. Just gonna let it sit overnight and see what it looks like tomorrow. I'm pretty sure it's not going to leak, but I figure I've got the time, and we'll just let it sit and hopefully nothing changes overnight. Okay, so I let it sit all night with the tank 2/3 full, and there's been no leaks. So today I'm going to basically try and button everything back up. Get back over here. I've bent that one piece back. I'm gonna just smooth everything out, and then I have some 4-inch plates that I'm gonna put over it. Okay, so I've got my 4x4 stainless steel plate here, and I've drilled some holes in it that I'm going to use to put it up underneath here. I'll try to mark it out so that I can line it up properly. So the next step is to just screw it on there, and yeah, we should be pretty good after that. Alright, so we have the plate on. The valve is all set up, so I'm pretty much done with this. Hopefully I'll never have to go in there again, but if I do, I can. Alright, so we're all done. Let's get some of this water out of here, see how it's gonna work here. Yeah, that works just fine. Alright, hopefully I'll never have another freshwater drain problem as long as I own the trailer.